So a few days ago now, adult actress Sophia Leone passed away at age 26. And this is the fourth adult actress to pass away just in the last few months alone. Emily Willis, age 25, I'm pretty sure. She's in a coma right now in a vegetative state. Basically, you're a vegetable. And if you don't know what that means, it means there's no brain activity going on at all. Kagney Linn and Jessie Jane, two more adult actresses who passed away earlier this year from drug overdose and self-deletion, unfortunately. Now, this has been happening ever since the adult industry was formed. The reason I felt compelled to make a video talking about things like this is just because of the influx of OnlyFans and this whole social media sham that's going on, because it's really affecting people of our generation and slightly older. It's the biggest trap, unfortunately. And I've always talked about falling into traps as like a joke on this channel, but this is something I want to take seriously. Now, of course, most people out there are not involved in sex work, but it's the mental health toll that goes on everyday things that, to be honest, is comparable to these people and sex work. Because for us, it seems ludicrous, but for the people that actually participate and are active in that field, they'll see it as something comparable to what we see as something smaller. It's easy to look at women like Emily and Kagney and think, you know what, this is what's coming. You should have seen this, etc, etc. You gotta remember this applies to us as well. There are plenty of things that we enjoy doing that is self-destructing. And just because we look at sex work as extremely taboo compared to these people who don't, you gotta remember they might see something else as extremely taboo that we find normal. It's all about perspective in life. The fact of the matter is, most of us in the world, we actively participate in things that we enjoy that are self-destructing. And we know that they're self-destructing. But just because we know it doesn't make the burden any easier to bear. We're just acknowledging the demons we have within us. Like for me, example, my eating habits a couple years ago, it was physically killing me. And I found every reason to justify it, whether it was mental health, whether it was self-confidence or lack of. I did everything under the sun I could in order to justify my eating habits. For some people, it can be alcohol. For some people, it could be, tobacco, gambling. It could be some sort of physical activity. It could be inflicting emotions upon other people or an emotional reaction upon yourself. It could be anything. I'm sure that these adult actresses and adult actors that pass away or they have significant mental health issues after being in that industry, I'm sure that they could have seen those things coming when they signed up for it. But much like the average person, we do a lot more than we think we're capable of to defend things we deem important. For example, a lot of us try to defend or partake in things that we find fun, whether it's because you may have not had a lot of fun as a child, or maybe because, you haven't really had many responsibilities in life, so fun mode is what you default to. It could be a lot of reasons. For some people, it could be for the sake of their family, it could be the sake of financial reasons, it could be because it's mentally freeing. But just because it may be beneficial in those areas doesn't mean that it permits you doing something that's self-destructing, whether it's physically or mentally, because it's not worth it in the end. Your life, your actual ability to live, is way more important than all of these things. In some aspects, even more than family, because how are you going to help your family if you're not alive? Now, I don't mean to get all philosophical Jordan Peterson on you, but I like to bring up the Greeks in this scenario, and hear me out, I know it's a random ass, the Greeks believed in something called the Fates, and the Fates there were three entities. They were in charge of, seeing the future and, relaying it to the gods and stuff. They had an oracle and all that, but that's what the Fates were for. And for people, when they ask me for advice and they feel like they only have one route, I like bringing up this story because they believe in three fates. And because there were three fates, they always believed that there were at least three ways of always dealing with a situation. And that's the way I look at things, because if you go into something believing that there's only one way to solve a problem, you're more likely to mess up. You're more likely to not see the bigger picture. You're more likely to miss out on important details. It's better to go in considering everything, because it can help you plan a different route that may be better for you, maybe better for your family, better for your pocket. I don't want you guys going into scenarios, diving headfirst into things that you don't fully understand yet, just because it may benefit you in some areas. I'm not saying that's what these actresses did or actors did or anything like that. I just want to make it clear, because there's such an influx of people who are trying to do sex work now. I have a feeling that most of you people just see the money. You see the dollar signs. You see these people making 100K a year or 100K a month or whatever the fuck. A lot of the time, people in these type of industry or related to these kinds of jobs, they'll never give you the full story, because once you know the full story about the stuff that goes on, you would not want to do it. It loses its appeal. So they keep throwing money and they keep throwing this and that, and you're sexually free, and they keep using that feminism card to try and trick people and all of that. And anything that has clear disadvantages, for the sake of your sanity, please do not dive dive into that stuff, because we're gonna get more things like people overdosing because they can't take it, people checking themselves into rehab, families gone. You know, we're gonna see a whole bunch of just degeneracy is the best way I can put it. We're going to see a bunch of more degeneracy. You have to make sure you never get to that scenario, and the best thing to do is consider everything before you dive headfirst into some bullshit. Rest in peace to everyone I mentioned already. Hopefully Emily Willis can, you know, come out of the coma. I really hope so. If she doesn't, then rest in peace to her as well. Yeah, may their souls rest eternally, man. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care.
I'm not a savior nor a saint. Told 30s and sticks with an open case. I try to behave when I know I can't. So purpose of this is to motivate. What's the ticket? Shit we can negotiate. Take a toke of the law while I